Hello and welcome to Open Line. Tonight we are talking about Village at Glencliff. That is the micro homes being built in South Nashville to serve the homeless population. 22 micro homes. So thank you so much so far with all of the comments. If you know someone that wants to watch, can't tune into Open Line, we're also streaming on Facebook right now. But let's get back to the lines. We have Burgess calling. Hey Burgess, what's your question?
I've got about 3 of them.
Oh, here we go.
Who's going to maintain this property?
Okay.
And who's going to keep the maintenance up on it?
Okay.
What are your other questions?
Do what now?
What are your other questions?
How many people will stay on this property?
Okay.
In the houses? And let's see, and we got some slumlords around Nashville. They're married realtors. Y'all need to check into that.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you so much.
Great questions. So the first question is that we are contracting with a maintenance company that does other nonprofit schools and churches and nonprofit organizations. So they will be who's keeping the maintenance. They'll just have a maintenance contract and we can submit tickets as we need to do things. And then the other question was how many people. So we're gonna have 4 of the homes will be 400 square feet. So that means 2 people can stay in each of those. And then the rest of them will be 1. They're 200 square feet. So codes requires 200 square feet per person. So yeah.
Burgess, good questions. All right, now we have Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, what's your question?
Yes, this is for the homeless, and what do you have to do to qualify for? I've been out of anywhere to go since October of last year, and I've had some health problems.
All right.
Cheryl, are you in a safe place right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You know what? If you can leave your number with the producer, we will get in touch with you. Okay. I'll make sure that we get in touch with you, and we can look at what the resources that are available. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Cheryl. Steve. Hey, Steve. Thank you for calling.
Okay.
What's your question?
My question is, I've lived in Nashville for 62 years, and I see every day, or just when I'm down there in Nashville Memorial Hospital sitting there empty. There's over hundreds of rooms over there with showers. Why can't they be used? Usually, why can't they use them things?
All right.
So
I feel like this is a city question.
That sounds like mine. So Steve, I appreciate that. We've been dealing with general hospital issues and trying to figure out what is the best use of the facility. And believe it or not, what Steve is talking about actually got discussed, because you've got a facility that isn't fully being utilized at this point, and the question is, what can you do with something like that? Could you take a floor and open it up, and particularly when it's cold outside, make sure people can come inside? That's, again, that innovative spirit. We've got to figure out something to do with General Hospital. What is the right use of it? The council has got it funded through the end of this fiscal year, and will most likely do it through the next fiscal year. But in the meantime, there's a committee that is looking into what is the best use. What should we do with General? I know a lot of people want to keep it, but we also want to utilize the facility. We have a lot of space in there that's not being utilized. So we're going to sit down and figure this out. And I will tell you, Steve, that those ideas are exactly what we need. This committee that was put forth in the bill that passed, that got the rest of the funding in, is a committee that is seriously going to take a look at this, and we're going to try to figure out what to do.
So his idea was talked about?
Well, no, it just got, so council members started talking about, the idea is you've got this facility and it's not being fully utilized at this point. We've got empty beds. So the question is, what innovative things could you come up with General, whether it's a floor for folks with Alzheimer's who can't afford someplace else to go? Can you turn it into a facility, particularly for people, homeless folks who are coming, who need that type of medical attention? So good point, Steve, and we're going to take a look at that.
Ingrid, you support the idea?
Of course I support the idea. Yeah, most clergy, think some things are sinful and like whatever. In my book, the biggest sin is empty buildings. I can't stand it. I can't stand it when there's a building that's empty and it's not being utilized, when we have when we know so many people who are freezing outside, or who, it doesn't even have to be freezing. People need a bed.
All right, let's go back to the village at Glencliff, because we briefly mentioned kind of the concerns from the neighbors, and this is something that you have been dealing with. There are some opposition from the neighbors. What are their major concerns that you've heard of? Yeah,
and all of these things I totally understand, right? Some of the concerns I really understand. If you aren't day to day doing the kinds of things that we do at Open Table, then there's a lot of things that most folks, thankfully, don't experience in life, and then they just don't know how the situation's going to turn out, right? Or they haven't had experience with us as an organization. So some of the things are, the safety aspect. Some of it is property values, maybe, which I really don't think we have to deal with in Nashville right now. I know my property value has gone up a lot. Exactly. And so, but, safety, property values, are people crime, crime for them and their neighborhoods. So I understand that. We have been given a gift by getting to know a lot of the folks who we work with. And learning their stories, and they've learned our stories. And like you heard with Thomas, there's a trust that we build together. And when someone is in one of our programs, or in one of our homes, or working with one of our outreach workers, there's this trust that we have. And obviously there's going to be more than the trust, right? There's going to be signed contracts for the people who live there, et cetera, things that are a little more legal. But all in all, when you have people do desperate things when they're desperate, but when you have a loving community, people are going to love each other, and they're not gonna have to do desperate things. And we just sent out evaluation forms to a lot of our folks who we've recently moved into housing, and so we've gotten about 70 of them back. And there was what is the one thing that has been most difficult for you living in housing? And it was loneliness. Loneliness has been the #1 thing, beyond food, right? So some people have a hard time getting food, but almost everyone has said loneliness. And so being in a community like this, providing folks who will, having people that come visit because they love you, because we do, right? Those kind of things help in the situations. Usually when situations flare up, it's because there's something terrible going on in their life, right? Hopefully we can be in a place that is hospitable and compassionate, and people will feel calm there, and they'll be able to heal.
All right, again, if you guys have any questions, 615-737+. Right now we have Chris on the line. Hey Chris, good evening, what's your question?
Yes, I was kind of interested in that a lot, and I thought about it a while back and was looking into far as more getting involved with it. I was actually wondering, what are your targets as far as on the tiny homes, and what is the productive situation, your productive status as far as on being able to rebuild them, and what is actually the main center points on how people will be able to, well, what are the options on how people will be able to get more involved into this?
Yep. Okay. Fantastic. Thanks for the call. If you go to our website, which is opentablenashville.org, one of the tabs is on micro homes, and there's also a place where you can say you'd love to get involved. So we would love to hear from you. A lot of this, because it's the first time we're doing this, is being done by professionals. We would love to get to a point where it could be sort of like a habitat build, right? And so that a lot of different groups we're building. There will be some aspects of the homes that volunteers come in and do, and landscaping and painting and doing some of some of that kind of work. So we would love to have people come out and help. But also, a lot of people have shown interest in helping. And at this point, there's not anything to do other than support us with your thoughts and prayers and checkbooks if you want.
Well, there you go. You have a lot of people interested, and
Yeah.
so far, at least just with this program right now. Hey, Bill, thank you for calling. What's your question? Hey, Bill, if you're listening, just turn your TV down, and when you get a chance, what is your question? All right, hopefully we'll get back to Bill in just a moment. He's watching, so
Yeah.
so that
That's
is something. So again, 615-737+. We also have this program being streamed right now on Facebook. So any questions or comments? We do have about 20 minutes left in this show. We'll have more of Open Line coming up after the break. I think the producer is speaking to Bill. All right, we'll stay on just a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just going on break. No worries. Do we have Bill ready right now? Okay. Hey, Bill. Thank you for sticking around. What's your question?
Okay. How do I coordinate with the people to help and to be helped? I can build, I'm crippled, but I know how to do things, and I know how to take care and build, and I know how to make things level and square. It's just I'm poor,
Yeah.
and that's no fault of mine. It's just the way that God made things happen.
Yeah. Bill, thank you for calling.
Thanks, Bill. We would love for you to help us. But also, if you have housing questions, again, I'm really sorry, and I should have looked at what our information number is. And I don't want to tell you just to keep going to our website, but on our website there is a contact number, and we would love for you to give us a call, and we might be able to help you with some resources.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, we'll have more of Open Line coming up after the break.